Sim, existem várias formas de você estudar inglês. Uma das formas é aqui com a gente, Inglês no Micro Rádio. Você está aprimorando o seu ouvido, melhorando cada vez mais o seu listening. Mas não existe, gente, isso eu garanto, uma forma melhor do que você fazer o seu listening junto com o speaking, ou seja, falar inglês. E o Cambly te dá essa oportunidade. Vá lá no cambly.com ou no aplicativo do Cambly, coloca o nosso código Inglês no Micro Podcast e você vai ganhar uma aula de graça. Dessa forma, você pode testar a plataforma, entender como é que funciona e fazer valer tudo aquilo que você está aprendendo aqui com a gente, né? Porque é falando que se aprende, é errando que se aprende também. Então, vamos ultrapassar esse medo de falar a língua inglesa, porque, gente, é incrível. A partir do momento que você ganha confiança, você pode escolher lá um professor, uma professora nativa da língua inglesa, qualquer hora lá no Cambly, e pronto. É isso. Depois me conta o que vocês acharam, tá? Então, now, on with the show!
Hey, Alexia.
Hey, Foster.
How are you doing? I know that everyone has missed you very much.
Yes, I got a lot of messages on Instagram saying meus sentimentos. So thank you all for that. And in English, we should say, I'm so sorry for your loss, right?
Yeah. I think the most direct translation for meus sentimentos would be my condolences.
Yeah.
That's like a very formal way to say that I'm sorry. But honestly, for me, it's too formal. I would not say like, oh, my deepest condolences. I would just say I'm really sorry for your loss.
Yeah, that's it. So thank you, everyone. And I am back on track. I'm here. And we today have a very important subject to talk, right?
Yeah. Just wanted to say real quick that our fans are the best. So sweet. But yeah, today is January 21st, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Which means here in the
Happy anniversary.
Yes, it's our monthly anniversary, which Alexia constantly reminds me of, but I think there's
I like it. It's not anything like big, but I like it. I like to remember.
I like it too, but I don't think it's more important than Martin Luther King Day, which is the topic at hand.
Depende do ponto de vista. It depends on the point of view.
No. I mean, it's not even our yearly anniversary. I think any objective person would say that Martin Luther King is more important than our, I don't even know what anniversary it is.
Of course, amor. I always say that. Of course, amor. Yeah.
Okay, so Alexia, how would you like to do this? Would you like me just to talk about Martin Luther King? Or I think a good place to start would be if you could just tell me, like, what is the brief description of what you know about Martin Luther King? Because from what I understand, most people outside of the United States really don't know who Martin Luther King Jr. is, why he's important, that kind of thing.
Well, honestly, I don't remember if I studied that in school. I have no idea if I did or not. But once you grow up, you kind of start understanding the world and what happened. So you start to learn that Martin Luther King was an activist, a very important activist against the racism in the United States, in the world. So, yeah.
You'd say against the racist, or I would probably just say against racism.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much perfect for like a general definition of what most people know. I think when people think about Martin Luther King Jr., they think a civil rights activist, and then they think about his famous I Have a Dream speech.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So before we get to his most famous speech...
And can I say one thing?
Absolutely, go for it.
Most of people don't really know who he is and what he has had done,
What
have
he
done.
had done.
Oh my
I would
God.
just say what he did.
What he did for the United States. And they only like share on Facebook or Instagram the I have a dream speech just to be hype, you know? So people really, really don't know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would include a lot of Americans into that category as well.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So let me ask you some quick little trivia question, Alexia.
I don't know. I just go ahead.
No one
I don't
knows
know.
this, but I think you can guess, and I will give you some hints. So, do you know where Martin Luther King was born? And I will give you a hint. It is a city in the U.S. that you have visited.
Charleston.
It's a city in the U.S. where you consistently have some bad memories or annoying situations.
Atlanta.
Yes, MLK was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I always think about I'm like, why is the airport in Atlanta not named after Martin Luther King? And then I think,
What's
yeah,
the name of the Atlanta airport?
Hartfield International.
Who's this person?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's a person.
Nah.
Might be like a company or something. Really not sure. But then I was thinking, probably a good thing because everyone hates that airport.
Yeah. I wouldn't like that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So let's just talk about some of the important things that Martin Luther King Jr. So that is his full name, is Martin Luther King Jr. Most people in the U.S., a lot of times when we are talking about him, we just refer to him as MLK.
Mm-hmm. But you say like MLK.
Yeah.
Never knew about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of the reasons that he's really famous, primarily for his civil rights leadership and activism, but something that a lot of people, at least a lot of our listeners, probably don't know, is that he was first and foremost a minister.
Do you remember the David Letterman that we watched? I think it was the Obama episode or the Drake. No, the Jay-Z episode. I don't remember. And there was one guest that was interviewed.
John Lewis.
Yes.
Yes. So John Lewis is a United States congressman who is still alive, and he was one of the leaders, along with Martin Luther King Jr., in the march in Selma, Alabama, against segregation and police brutality. And it's awesome because he's still alive.
He's almost like 95 years old.
Yeah, and still serving in the government.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But anyway.
Okay, so Martin Luther King was a minister.
Yeah, which is, I think it's really, really important because, first of all,
was a minister from the government or minister from a church? Because it's minister.
No. Yeah, we don't really say minister for, we don't use that as much for government. No, I'm talking about a church. I believe he was a Methodist minister. That might be mistaken. He might have actually been a Lutheran minister. But yeah, he would be a Catholic version of a priest, but he's not a Catholic, right? But I think this is really important. On one hand, that is where he learned a lot of his oratory skills, how to be a great speaker. If you listen to the old speeches from MLK, he's just a brilliant speaker. He's like a captivating, when you had a really motivating priest or something, they just have a way to really get your attention and make you believe in things.
Yeah,
And he had that capacity, which
he
is,
was a leader.
yeah. And also the fact that he was a minister really put him in a position of power to kind of bridge the gap between white America and black America, because all of white America in this point, they were also Christians, and he would always start from a point of connection, like, hey, I'm a Christian, I'm a minister, and he would talk about the teachings of Jesus to connect people rather than divide them.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, unfortunately, the world is still divided like this.
Yep, but we're going to stay positive today. So another big thing that Martin Luther King was really, really an advocate of was nonviolent protest. And there's a fascinating history behind all of this. But in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and even a little bit till today, there was a lot of tension, racial tension in the US. And particularly in the 60s, a lot of this was about segregation, right? Like black people had to go to different bathrooms. They couldn't eat in certain restaurants. They had to go to different schools. And a lot of African Americans in the US wanted to like fight fire with fire, They were
Mm.
really getting physically and just emotionally abused, and they wanted to fight back. And he was the leader that was like, nope, we're just going to march. We're going to walk. Going to be like Gandhi.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think that everyone has the right to protest against whatever cause they want, right? And it doesn't have to involve violence at all. I see all the protests and the marches in France, in Paris, and it's always like a civil war. And it's horrible. People get killed because of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a very courageous and difficult thing to do, nonviolent protests, because you're probably going to have violence against you. And it's really hard to.
Or even in your group, someone is carrying, I don't know, something that it can explode, like the person is very angry and he can't handle himself. And how can you trust someone who's walking by your side?
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of nonviolent protest, the most famous thing that MLK is known for is in 1963, they had the March on Washington. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay, so 1963, I don't know how many people, I want to say millions, but that's probably not right. But let's say hundreds of thousands of people from all over the country all walked to Washington, D.C., and Martin Luther King gave a speech. And it was a very, very long speech, but the part that everyone remembers is I Have a Dream.
Yeah. Can I read it?
Yeah. So just one thing, he actually says I have a dream like 20 times in the speech, but there is one little paragraph or one expression that he says that kind of became the most famous part that everyone remembers him for. And yeah, we can maybe put the audio in after, but Alexia, let's hear you read it, and I will see if your pronunciation and intonation is as good as Dr. Martin Luther King's.
Of course it won't. Why was a doctor?
It's a good question. I don't know if I would imagine he had like a doctorate in theology.
Doctor then theology. It's with the teeth, right?
Theology, yeah.
Ah, theology. Entendi de dentista.
No, no, I don't think on the side he had a little side business of had a small practice.
Okay, so here it goes. I have a dream that my 4 little
Like
children.
You got to start. I have a dream.
No, I'm sorry. I won't do it like this. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, by the but by the content of their character.
Excellent. Excellent. Really good job. I think I just have probably one correction that I would make. And this is a word that I hear you mispronounce with some regularity is the word dream.
Dream.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you're talking, I see this with our students all the time that any word in English that has the E sound, but we write it with an EA, for example, in dream or beach or seat or heat, subconsciously something in your brain is telling you, I should say tria, and try to put a little A sound in there, but it's not. It's just an E sound, just like in Portuguese, like E mais alguma coisa. So dream,
Dream.
much better,
Okay. Dream.
much better. So do you want to try it one time repeating with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream
Amor. Sério.
that my 4 little children
That my 4 little children
will one day live in a nation
will one day live in a nation
where they will not be judged
where they will not be judged
by the color of their skin,
by the color of their skin,
but by the content of their character.
but by the content of their character.
Excellent. Excellent. The last recommendation I would make is in content. That is actually the ah sound, just like prato chato ka content.
Content.
Perfect. Perfect. Cool. So what do you think about this, Alexia? I think it's a beautiful dream that's the most beautiful thing that you could ask for your children is they're not going to be judged by external circumstances, but they will be judged on their character, if they're good people or
Yes.
not.
Yes, and this is a good link for a movie that I watched this past week, which is Wonder. In Portuguese is Extraordinário. It's about a little guy, a little boy who was born with
Little guy.
facial. He was born with a facial disease,
Mhm.
like not fully formed, and I mean, I don't know how to say this in English. That's why I make my point about having to learn medical stuff to talk about it in English. But everyone was judging him because of that. And he's a very healthy boy. He could walk, he could talk, he could learn, he could do anything that other boys could do. And that's it. We should not judge anyone by their appearance, by their skin color, by why, where they are from, or anything like that. So the character is what really matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys want to learn a little bit more about this, especially about John Lewis, what we were talking about earlier, there is a great movie called Selma, which refers to the march in Selma, Alabama.
Okie dokie. I think that we did our job for today.
Yeah. Last thing I would mention is that Martin Luther King Day, January 21st, is a federal holiday, which means that federal workers and most employees do not have to go to work. So that
Yes,
doesn't
they
really
are not
matter.
working.
They're not working.
They are not working.
Not funny.
Yes, it is.
You will be laughing until you get to the US in the airport and TSA is not good.
I hope that they are doing their job, but not that much.
Okay, Emma.
Muito obrigada por ter escutado mais um episódio aqui do Inglês de Necrorádio. É muito bom ter você juntinho assim de nós. Faz muito, muito carinho no nosso coração, digamos assim. Então você que está interessado em saber mais sobre os nossos produtos e saber mais sobre a gente, o que a gente oferece para vocês em relação a estudo, a challenge, a curso, vá lá no inglesdenecro.com e você pode ver mais sobre as worksheets, por exemplo.
Yeah. If you want to really improve your English, if you want to learn more about the ways you can do that and just connect with us on a deeper level, go to inglesdenecro.com. And as always, keep up the good fight.
And lose well.
See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.